Hope everybody's doing good. Excited about what opportunity is coming our way here on Saturday night. Really, I think it's just going to be a super special deal to be able to head up to Outson Stadium, go up there and play with a great passion and energy out there, and play a really good football team. Number 3 team in the country, team that's coming off, obviously, 2 weeks ago, a huge win at Ohio State. And now they're probably super excited as we are about what's coming our way on Saturday evening, and know that we've got a great battle ahead of us.
Raise your hand up. Go ahead, Jedd.
What's the first thing that sticks out about them?
Their size and speed is certainly very obvious on film. They've done a great job recruiting over the course of the last, X amount of years, but certainly the last 3 years since Coach Cristobal's been there. And you could see that they've got, really good, a ton of talent at all position groups. And they're certainly, they're a force to reckon with.
Do you have a resolution at the quarterback position?
What we're going to do is we'll let the red zone day today in practice take care of itself, and just kind of see how they all play. Right now, Jordan's playing well, as is Gunner. Will's a little dinged up from the last game, so those two guys have been taking the majority of the reps, and we'll see how today's practice goes.
Back to Oregon, can you preview offensive defense for us for a preview show?
Sure. Offensively, you certainly are looking at a team. Coach Moorhead does a great job. We played them at Penn State when we were at Michigan. Coach Brown and myself a couple times in both 2015 and 16. We know what it looks like. Anthony Brown, their quarterback, Boston College guy that Coach Brown was involved in recruiting back in the day. So they're going to be built upon running the football, RPO game. Coach Cristobal's an offensive line coach by trade. Always has done a great job of running the football. We expect a heavy dose of that from them. They got a top running back in the pack, so we'll be prepared there. And then they obviously have skill guys outside that we have to cover. And we know that they're going to try to, take care of matchups and get involved in matchups, and we got to do a great job defensively to handle them. Offensively, our offense, their defense. I'm assuming that everyone's going to play. We'll see if I'm not right, but assuming that Thibodeau's playing. If Thibodeau is playing, we've got to have a great plan for him. He's an elite edge rusher. He's an elite player that have done a great job in their system. Their linebackers are outstanding. They have a great Mike linebacker. Sewell's done a great job there. Obviously, Penei Sewell, who went into the NFL draft, the top 7 pick, and now the linebacker is number 1, is an outstanding player. They've got great speed at secondary. So we're expecting them to really come out and play great football. And they really have it at all spots. They've done a great job of developing talent over years of recruiting. I remember in 2017 playing them when Coach Cristobal was the line coach there, and I was the offensive coordinator at UCLA. So, since that point in time, he became the interim head coach for a couple games and then the head coach, and has done a great job recruiting and coaching him.
All right. When it comes to the blocking plans that you may have, is there looking more to try to keep more tight ends in and maybe use the fullback a little more?
Yeah, well, what we've got to do is we've got to mix different slides, different chips, different schemes that would enable us to be able to prevent them from a free hit, on the quarterback, and also prevent them from being able to change the line of scrimmage. You've got to be able to keep the ball. You got to be able to protect the quarterback. And really the key would be more multiple looks rather than just 1 or 2 different variations.
And on that note, you had the 2-point play that you put out there first at the 3 tight ends and the fullback. Why did you not stick with that after the timeout, either your timeout or?
Yeah, so we didn't actually. They took both the timeouts. They took timeout back to back. I felt at that point in time, they called the timeout after we shifted, so they had a pretty good feel for the formation. I think that play has a lot more success if you were able to snap the ball and try to get matchups based on shifting. When they were able to change personnel and no longer, when they saw that we were going to a one-back set, they didn't play all their bigs. They put some pass game guys in there. So at that point in time, the matchup wasn't very good anymore. And then the second timeout, we were in a formation, which we stayed in after the timeout. But they wanted to try to get a look at that. But we wound up really hurting ourselves on that last one. We should have just, thrown the bubble out to Stanley and got in the end zone.
Can you comment on Edgar Barola leading the program and who you think can slide into his spot?
Yeah, I wish Edgar the best of luck, whatever he chooses to do afterwards. He was our 7th or 8th lineman. And so, at that point in time, he was, playing as the 3rd tackle. So right now we'll have a situation where we've got guys like Woody Jean. We always could move Josh Donovan over, or outside, I should say. Always could move Donovan Lay to tackle. So right now, we just wish Edgar the best and feel that we have the depth able to move guys around. And then we'll have to recruit to more depth and continue to build this program through the next couple of years of recruiting as well.
Regarding the QB situation again, you envision both Jordan and Gunnar playing this game? Would you rather pick one guy and kind of hopefully have him play the whole way?
Yeah, that would be the goal would be that. If there's a certain player too, that would be maybe for a package play. But specifically, it would be the wanting to play the quarterback the whole way and have a good battle quarterback and hopefully play the quarterback the whole rest of the season. That would be the ultimate plan of attack. We would like to try to, that was our goal a couple weeks ago when we went with Gunnar against San Diego State, and that was our goal last week when we went with Will. Unfortunately, that didn't happen.
Offensively, how can you help set up the quarterbacks for success? Do they need to step up and master the system, or do you need to maybe simplify things to get them into a flow?
Yeah, we have to find a way to be much more consistent at the quarterback position and at really all positions, but certainly to be able to move the football more consistently. Unfortunately, over the course of the last 3 games of last year and the first 3 games of this year, we haven't scored over 19 points. And that's got to change. You've got to be able to do that. So we continue to evaluate our scheme, continue to try to make reads simpler, continue to try to eliminate guys in their reads and give them one and dones, rather than feel that they have to sit around and wait on a bunch of guys. But we have to do a better job there, and we'll continue to do that. And then the quarterbacks have to respond by, taking on that responsibility as well.
Has Lucas been reinstalled as the #1 kicker, or is that a week?
Yeah, Lucas has had a great practice week last week, kicked the ball fine during the games, and has had a good practice this week. So Lucas will be the kicker this week.
Is it difficult to sell the idea of the process to someone like Josh McCauley, who's not going to be here after this year, or anything can happen?
Yeah, one of the things that I've talked to those guys about individually, as well as collectively, is you can be a part of the process by being the first. You could look back on it and say, hey, I was in that. I was on that team. I was part of the change. And, maybe the freshman can say, I've been able to benefit from the change. Or maybe the recruits can say, I can't wait to get there and take the change to a whole nother level. What the seniors are looking at right now, and what I keep challenging them to say is, hey, first of all, we're in a 9-game Pac-12 season. So what can we do in these 9 weeks? If we get better every day, what will October and November look like? And then secondly, as we're building this foundation, you are the core, right? The house would fall over without a foundation. So this season is the foundation of the process and of the change. And then what we've got to do is those guys have to believe when they get to look back on it, and in 2 or 3 years from now or whatever it might be, they can say, I was the guy that bought in, that believed, and that taught the freshmen what it was going to look and feel like.
Go ahead, Al.
How do you go about establishing the run against a team that's been pretty good defensively this year?
Yeah, well, you're going to have to mix run and pass. You're going to have to give different looks. You're going to have to be able to run both in the perimeter and the inside game. You can't just, say we're going to line up mano-a-mano and we're going to tell you where we're going to run and run it. In terms of you're going to have to give them different looks and try to make it, try to make it challenging on their defense because of the way their defense is playing this year, because of how gap sound they are, because of kind of the way they shed blocks. We're going to have to find the right double teams and then be able to take advantage of that the best we can.
What sort of adjustments do you have to make because of the noise factor that you're going to be facing?
Yeah, we're certainly practiced all week with noise. Obviously silent count is critical. Being able to communicate with the defense, the linebackers have to communicate because, traditionally what happens is, your noise comes when the offense is on the field calling the play from the huddle, right? So you've got to be keenly aware of that's a challenge. So we'll see how much huddle we do. And then, we also have to look at what is the plan of defensively, when the offense makes a big play and they get loud, how quickly can we communicate the next call? So we're working on both of them. We've had noise, and we will continue to work on hand signals.
Time for about two more. Rich?
What do you anticipate for the running back rotation? Will we see Anderson, Wiley, and Rocker Jr.?
Yeah, you'll see Anderson, Wiley, Rocker, and Jalen Johnson. I think Jalen ran the ball pretty good last week. He deserves to get some opportunities to run the football. Young guy, freshman. So he and Rocker are both, freshmen. So want to see them running the ball, but also understand the environment they're running in. Drake has run the ball in Big Ten environments before, so feel good about Drake Anderson and Michael Wiley. Michael will be right back to where he was, and obviously put the ball on the ground last week, and that happens. So we just move forward. We don't accept it, but we know that it happened, and then we move on. So those will be the four backs that'll play, and I'm sure primarily it'll be Drake and Mike.
Regarding that situation specifically, are you done for the game if you fumble?
No, that was a set of circumstances that it was, I don't want to say it was the perfect storm, but when he fumbled, then Drake started running, and then Drake started running really well. Then Jalen went in, and Jalen ripped off some runs, and then it was like, okay, well, these guys are actually the hot hand. And, prior to that, we weren't really running the ball very well. I think we only had like 6 carries for 4 yards or something to that effect. We had 22 yards at halftime. So when we came back in the second half and started running the ball well with those guys, it just kind of happened by circumstance that he stayed in.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Okay, thank you, guys.